Good morning. Welcome to day 14 of the 90-day Entre content challenge. That's my third time trying that. I just didn't leave the, bad tries in. It's very early on Monday. I hope your weekend was good. I'm noticing that I'm a bit disheveled. It is raining elephants outside, so I did good to actually make it in the door and still have a dry hair. This morning's thought was watching some videos that you guys had put up this morning. And one of my new friends, John, had one from day 11, I think, that I hadn't seen, discussing fear. Many types of fear are there, but I think he discussed fear of commitment. And that rattled around in my head all the way to work, and that's what happens. I get a little of an idea, and it'll just bounce around in there, kind of like a pinball machine. And I flick it till it lands where it's supposed to. Kind of a bad analogy, but anyway. Fear that doesn't serve us. And where I came to after that was courage. And something that I said yesterday about my mother not having a whole lot of self-confidence, but she could borrow it when she needed it. Same thing with courage. And then it occurred to me, and I actually was laughing at myself coming in as I was thinking of all these times where I borrowed courage for like 10 seconds. And, almost all of those times it paid off. And so the one I'm going to share with you, and some of them are really funny. This one I'm going to share with you is kind of funny. The first time I sang in public, I was 13. I had spent, many years at home driving my parents crazy. Learning how to sing everything. And I became a part of a group of people, a Masonic organization, and somebody discovered I could sing. So the first time I did that, it was a very small group of people. Wasn't all that terrifying. I was nervous, But it was my first foray into positive reinforcement outside of the household. And so I got selected, or, I accepted the offer to sing at a kind of a state function thing this was in Richmond, Virginia, at the Richmond Coliseum, where like big name acts come and play. And so little Miss Bravado, oh yeah, sure, I can do that. Yeah, absolutely. I think I had to sing 10 state flag songs or something. It wasn't like a concert or anything. But there was way more people there than I thought. And I think only my mom and my sister knew how nervous I was, as I tried not to show that. There was a couple thousand people there. And I had to be there early, and it was like, oh my God. And my stomach started to churn. I was nauseous. I was just, oh my God, I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't do this. What if I suck? It's so funny now, because I was 13. So I get down there, and I have to stand next to the piano. The pianist was a very nice lady. I surely miss having a handy pianist. But anyway, and she takes me for being much older and more experienced. She just initiates conversation, and it hits me, and I was like, oh crap, she thinks I've done this before. Geez, And so, I go into self-preservation mode. It's like, oh yeah, sure. My legs were shaking so hard. When people say your knees were knocking together, they were literally knocking together. My hands were shaking and clammy, and I am never clammy. And then finally she said, you're a little pale. And I said, well, I didn't eat breakfast. Something off the cuff to kind of make her laugh, because that's a really good defense mechanism. And so thank God the lights went down. I didn't have to see all the people. Trick number 1, if you're scared to perform in public. I had done public speaking by this time to some degree. I mean, I know I was 13. It was like 13, almost 14 in 9th grade. Public speaking wasn't that big of a deal, but singing was. And so I remember the lights went down, and I remember she started to play, and the people with the little flags started marching in. And without really realizing I was doing it, I slipped my shoes off. I'm in a formal dress, formal dress and heels, pantyhose, the whole deal, completely uncomfortable. And I started slipping off my shoes, and for a split second, I thought, what if somebody yells at me? And before I even finished that thought, my brain said, I don't care. If you don't take these shoes off, you're going down. So that started my, and I still to this day perform in bare feet unless it's like super cold. But that kind of calmed me and centered me a little bit. I'm a barefoot girl. I have really ugly feet. But I borrowed that courage because I just didn't want her to know that I was afraid. And sometimes that can bite you, but every single time I've done that, it was not really to impress someone as much as it was to prove to me. I mean, yeah, you impress somebody, that's cool, right? You know, positive reinforcement. But I proved something to me that day. And even though I was nervous, you know, after that performing, it wasn't as bad as the first time. It got a little better and a little better. I have yet to be nervous as an adult on stage. I mean, I've played with some people that I should have been nervous around, and I was really super excited, but I wasn't like, you know, nervous or second guessing myself. So you'll get to there. And I'm going to equate this in really quickly to like launching your first funnel or your first video or your first podcast or whatever you're doing. It's scary. You're going to have butterflies, you know, if you haven't done it. But the fun part is if you borrow that courage for just a moment, it pays off. And you just have to trust the process. So, success character, right? Just throw that into your little file. I hope your Monday is good. Thank you for listening to my story. I love you guys. Take care, and I'll see you on the next one.